Hello there, Scorpio, and welcome to your January 2025 horoscope. Before we jump into things, I'm going to tell people a little bit about how these are going to function. I'm going to do that for the first couple of months just so people kind of get the hang of it. These horoscopes work best for people who have their ascendant in Scorpio or their moon in Scorpio. Doesn't mean you can't look at it for your sun sign. You'll just find it more accurate if your ascendant is there or your moon is there. For those of you who aren't familiar as well, even though I do Vedic astrology, astrology from India, I do it working with the tropical zodiac. Using something called sidereal nakshatras. So if you're unfamiliar with what your chart looks like from the tropical system, you can calculate that at the link that you'll see up above. So you're first on the list this month, Scorpio, so you get to go first in line because I randomly do these every month and decide who gets to go first by just picking a number. So we start with you. So home is where the heart is. Truly, home is really, truly where the heart is. Because if you're not happy with where your life is at, you could live in the most luxurious of places, and ultimately it's going to feel too restrictive. Ultimately, it'll feel like a prison. And January may have you in a position where you're reviewing and revisiting a commitment that you've made and taking a look at what is now important to you in your life and considering making some changes in relation to that because you're feeling that there's too many restrictions and restraints within a key relationship that you have going on. And you're in a position where, yeah, on one level, you'd like to find a solution that works for all parties involved, but you know deep down in your heart that ultimately you have to find a solution that's going to work for you. The problem is getting to that solution. And if you try to overly mentally, if I can speak correctly, if you try to overly mentally analyze what the solution should be, chances are you're not going to get into a position where you're able to come up with a solution that's ultimately going to work. Early in the month, we've got some tension going on between Mercury and Neptune. And it's got you in a position where you're trying to deeply sort out what the solution might be when you're actually probably going to have more luck if you let the solution kind of reveal itself to you a little bit at a time. There are indications because we have Venus transiting into your fifth house of romance. So some of you may find yourself healing a particular romance that you're working with. Some of you may feel like you're being called to greener pastures, something that's more inspiring to you. And some of you may have some things going on in your life around children. Where children are concerned, sometimes children are in a position where they don't always come out and fully say what it is that they want. And if we remember from when we're children, sometimes we used to do that too, because it's sometimes you find yourself in a position where you're hinting at it a little bit more rather than coming right out and saying what it is that you want. So if you're working with a child in relation to this particular process that we've been discussing around a key relationship and your home environment, chances are that the child is wanting something that they may not fully be able to relate to you. Maybe they're not fully sure what that is for themselves. We've got Venus early on in the month. I can get you the date if you hold on a moment. Actually, it's not early in the month, it's later in the month, more around mid-month. We've got Venus conjuncting Saturn, both in Purva Bhadrapada, in your house of children. And so Purva Bhadrapada quite often has two different faces. It may say that it wants one thing, when in actuality there's a deeper desire that's underneath the surface that isn't being revealed. This may be the case for you in romance. This may be the case for you with a child. And it can also be a case for you in connection with trying to sort out how to move forward with this relationship that we're discussing. Well, we know the real answer is that you have to be happy inside of yourself, right? You may even be considering a move. You may even be considering shifting to a different location. If you're involved in a relationship, some of you may find yourself in a position where you're going, you know what, I need some space. I need some time to myself, and I need to take that time in order to uh, feel where I'm at in regards to this particular situation. In either instance, you'll likely find yourself over the course of the month coming to a deeper sense of knowing and relating to the path ahead, what it is that you actually really need, and coming into connection with that and actually sorting through it. The moon this month is going to be full in your ninth house. So it's going to bring you into connection with those commitments, things that you can commit to going forward, things that you can no longer commit to going forward, and tapping into your own sense of ethics and beliefs, which ultimately, when we're dealing with relationships, we quite often have to take that little bit of independent space in order to sort through that. So, as I was saying, when we get to, I think it's around, trying to find that particular alignment, towards the end of the month, we've got the sun conjuncting Pluto. Now, in Vedic astrology, Mars would be your ruler, but I quite often look at the outer planets too. And Pluto, of course, is your other ruler. So the Sun and Pluto are conjuncting each other in Shravana. And Shravana deals with listening at a deeper level. So in your interaction with another person, you actually may find yourself going, you know what, it's a little bit too troublesome to listen to this person. I just need to listen to myself. And it's at that point that that deeper level of understanding and knowledge and wisdom about what it is that you actually want comes to fruition. Now, chances are, though, for the first little bit of time that you're kind of coming into that, there may be some resistance. This isn't something that you're going to likely come to a solution in terms of how this should work all in one go. It's likely going to be a trial and error process where you come up with an idea, you put it to the test, you see how it works, and it's somewhat, for lack of a better way to put it, hammered out over time. You may already know what this is in relation to your life. In either instance, a change is due for you, one where you're setting up your life in a way that's feeling more stable for you, more secure for you, and ultimately more happy for you. And if you have children, ultimately happier for them. Again, if you'd like to know a little bit more about what the year holds in store for you, I do offer 2025 year ahead consultations. Those can be scheduled just above. In addition to that, I also have a vast range of astrological services that are available on my website through my astrological services page that you can find right here. Thank you so much for watching your January 2025 horoscope. I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.